Assalamu alaikum. This is Sadia Malik, Assistant Professor ICGF 62, and today's lecture is about APA. This is in continuation with the course ELL 401, Research Methodology and Term Paper Writing. So first we are going to talk about what APA is and where did it come from. So APA style, also known as APA format, is a writing style and a format for academic document, such as scholarly journal articles, research papers, theses, and books. So basically it's a format, it's a plan according to which you write your research articles. It is commonly used for citing sources within the field of behavioral and social sciences. So most of the time when you are writing research papers for psychology or literature or sociology, so this APA format is used over there. It is described in the style guide of the American Psychological Association. That is where the APA comes from, American Psychological Association, and which is titled the Publication Manual of the American Psychological Association. So what happened was that when the American Psychological Association started publishing their paper, they were having problems because the papers would come in very different formats and very different templates. So what they wanted was a more uniformity. So that is why they came up with this format. Now, why were these guidelines necessary? It aided reading comprehension in social behavioral sciences because you know how the different parts are divided and how headings are also made. So that somehow reduced confusion when you were reading research papers. For clarity of communication, so there is no problem in what the writer is intending and what the reader is understanding. For word choice, that best reduce bias in the language. That was the most important thing because APA also deals with the writing mechanisms and the word choices that you need to make. So it tried to limit the language bias. So it eliminated words which had like a negative connotation to it or a biased connotation related to it. APA style is widely used either entirely or with modifications by 100 of other scientific journals also, including medical and other public health journals as well, in many textbooks and academia. Because this has become such a norm now, that is why even if you're not writing a research paper, for example, if you're writing a textbook, even then you use APA because of clarity and because of how helpful it is in communication. At the moment, the 7th revision has been done, and you can say that APA 7th edition is there in use nowadays. Now, looking at a brief history, you might not need it because APA is more about practically applying it on a written document, but you might have a theoretical question on it, that what is APA and why it was used and where did it come from. So this is where you are going to know a little bit about its history. The APA became involved in journal publishing in 1923, so almost 100 years ago. In 1929, an APA committee had a 7-page writer's guide published in the Psychological Bulletin. So that is how it all started, starting with a 7-page guide, just telling the research writers how to write and how to format their papers. In 1944, a 32-page guide. So from 7 pages, it became 32 pages in 1944. Again, it was the same, that how you should write your research papers. And then it started with the editions. So the first edition was published in 1952 as a 61-page supplement. And then the initial editions went through 2 revisions in 1957 and 1969. And from there onwards, there have been very subsequent editions released in 74, 83, 94, 2001, 2009, and the latest being 2019. Now, APA, a lot of people think that APA is just used in referencing. That comes at the end of the paper. A lot of people believe that it is just about the headings and the subheadings. But basically, it deals with 3 levels of specifications. So level 1 deals with how a research paper must be organized. So how it should look, for example, having a title page, abstract, introduction, methodology, result, discussion, references. So this is the skeleton, or this is the outline that you work with. In addition, formatting of abstract and title pages must be as per the APA manual of style. So they also tell you how to write abstracts, how to write title pages, what should be mentioned on the title page. Level 2 of APA, it deals with the style of writing. So what type of vocabulary has to be used, what type of sentences must be used, what type of tenses must be used. So it should be clear and formal, no slang, no pop culture references, no biased language, no humor, because it's an academic document. So it has to be very formal and very educational. It must minimize literary devices, use technical terms appropriately, and be direct. It even tells you that if you are using acronyms, so how to define them or how to elaborate what these are. And whenever you're using technical terms, you are going to appropriately discuss them once and then use them later. Now, the level 3 of the APA, that deals with the mechanics. Mechanics means that it tells you about the line spacing, it tells you about the margins, the font number, the font type, what to hyphenate and what not to hyphenate, how to cite in-text citation, what is alignment, how to add tables to your research paper, how to add figures to your research paper, if you're using footnotes, how to use footnotes. And first it tells you to use them less, but even if you have to use a footnote, so how to use it. So these are the 3 levels of APA. It is not just about font size and font type. It is not just about the margins and the headings. It's about these 3 things: organization of paper, style of writing, and the mechanics of writing. Now we are going to start with the how this formatting comes into play. So we are going to take the guidance from the 7th edition of APA. Now the journal guidelines, which is across the board, and it is for the textbooks and the research papers and the thesis if you are doing it, that is, the page margin is going to be 1 inch from all sides. So when you open Word and you choose a new document, there are different or choices that you have, that how much margin do you want on all 4 sides. So you are going to choose 1 inch on all sides. Double space, all the text is going to be double space, including the heading. So it's not going to be 1, it's not going to be 1.5, it's going to be double. Then indent the first line of every paragraph 0.5 inches. So you are not going to start from the margin. You are going to start 0.5 inches away from the margin. As far as the font style is concerned, some of the fonts which are acceptable are Times New Roman in 12-point font size, Arial in 11, Georgia in 11, Calibri in 11, and Lucida Sans Unicode in 10. So you need to have these things in mind while you are choosing a certain font. And of course, you are going to include the page number on every page of your paper on the right upper corner, not on the bottom, not in the center, but right upper corner is where that page number is going to go. So this is one of the specifications, or you can say one of a specimen, in which you can see that the section heads is in the center. The whole text is double spaced. You can see here 0.5 indenting. And then you have a running head, means that you are going to have your title of the research paper here on every page. So it is going to be part of your header. And also the page number is going to be part of your header. And then the Times New Roman has been selected, so the font size is going to be 12. But as you can say that the space between the heading and the paragraph and the lines between the paragraph, they are all double spaced. Now coming to the page header, this is very important because this is something that is going to appear on every page of your research article. So 2 things are going to be used there: running head, where the title of your article comes, and then the page number in the top as well. Now we come to headings and subheadings, because your paper is divided into different sections. So you're bound to use a main heading and then a subheading and then another subheading of the subheading. So sometimes it gets a little confusing that what comes under what. So APA has designed, or APA has given 5 levels of headings. And again, double space between text and heading is going to be there. And the font is going to be same. If you are working in New Times Roman, your heading and the text are going to be in the same form. And there are 5 level headings given here. The first is the main heading, the centered, bold. This is like, for example, if you're writing introduction or abstract. So it is going to be in the middle of the page. Title case means it's going to be capital. It's going to be bold. It's going to be centered. And text begins on a new line, indent first line. So after it, there is going to be a line spacing of 2. And the next line is going to start from 0.5 away from the margin. Then comes level 2 heading. This is obviously the subheading of the main centered heading. So this is going to be left aligned, means that it is going to be right with the margin. Again bold, and title case, again capital. Okay. And then the text begins on a new line, indented first line. So this is going to be right next to the margin, but the text is going to start with 0.5 inches away from the margin. Then if you, for example, this is your subheading, but then you need a subheading of this subheading, so that is going to be called level 3 heading. So that is going to be the same but in italics. So it is going to be left align, bold, italic, and again title case. So when I'm reading through it, so I would know this is my main topic, this is the subheading, and this is the subheading of this topic. And then even under it, if you have something to mention, for example, instead of using bullets, you are going to use level 4 type of heading. Again, it's going to be indented. This is going to be 0.5 inches away from the margin. Bold, title case, and then after that you're going to put a period, that is a full stop. And then the level 5 is indented, bold, italic, title case, period after it. I'm just going to show you a page in which you can see all these levels working in. So this is your level 1 heading. This is your section label, and this is the method is your level 1 heading. Okay, so that is centered in the middle. Then level 2 heading is bold, right against the margin. Okay. Level 3 is the subheading of sampling method, that is procedure. So this is level 3, bold, italics. Then level 4 is again the subheading of the procedure. For example, the procedure is that the participant were asked to do something, but then this procedure needs further elaboration. So level 4 heading. And the participant requirement again then needed 2 more subheadings. So that is going to be level 5 heading. So it's going to be italics, and a period is going to be mentioned after level 4 and level 5 headings. Now coming to the title page, that is very important because that is the first impression that the people take from your paper. So this is going to be the title page. The paper title is going to come center in the middle of the page, and all the important words are going to be capitalized, but not the prepositions. So the effects of soil pollution on planet's growth. So on and off is not going to be capitalized, but the rest is going to be capitalized. Then comes the author name after a line spacing. And then, of course, the information about the author, affiliation, where is she from, which university, then what is the course. For example, if you have written a research paper for my course, you are going to write ELL 401, Research Methodology and Term Paper Writing. And then your instructor. So if you are giving it to me, my name is going to be here, and the due date, that is the date of submission, that is going to be there. And you are also going to have a page number on the title page as well. One thing that I need to mention here is that some of universities have their own templates. So APA is one way of formatting it, but if your university proposes a template, you have to use that template, because there are universities that come up with their own template, which is a mix of APA and their own requirement. Now, quickly going through abstract. This is the most read thing of your article, because people do not have time to go through your article, a 22-page or a 25-page article. So what they mostly do is they go through your abstract, because an abstract is like a summary of what you have done. So again, the header would have your the title of your article over here. It's going to be a running head. You'll have a page number. Okay. And then abstract is going to come in the middle because it's a section label. And then you can see that it is written in a box form. There is no indentation from the margin. So it is just written in a box form, and it is one paragraph throughout. So you are not going to find any paragraphing within abstract. It starts from here and it ends here. So no indentation. Okay, so it's not going to be 0.5 away from the margin. It starts right from the margin, and it's just one paragraph. When you're writing keywords, again, this is where you indent. So you indented 0.5 inches away from the margin, write keywords which are going to be italicized, put a colon, and then use 6 to 9 words from the abstract or from your paper as keywords. So keywords also help the people find your research easily. And again, this abstract is again going to be double spaced. So as the whole paper is double spaced, so this is also going to be double spaced.